Well, good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time to share some plushies. And I have a few on my table. I am super surprised that it is not more, because it's been like a whole week since I've shown you my makes, because Sunday we had a different type of video come up. So I have some free patterns here, and I have some paid patterns here. I have some that you have seen before, some that are new to me, and at least one that will be new to you. So let's start. Just where do I start? And I still have a pattern test that I completed that I can't share with you yet. That'll be on Sunday's video, this coming Sunday. Where do we start? All right, let's just go here. I did it's a big pile, I'm sorry. Okay, I made some Pammy doll cats. I did 4 of them. We did this gray and white one, and I used Sweet Snuggles Light, trying to use it up. The gray in this one and this one. Now they're both gray and white. They look very similar, but they are different. But I did these two using the last tiny little bit of the gray that I had from making a bigger project that's sitting in front of me. And the white is also from the Michaels line, you know, the loops and threads. Either Sweet Snuggles Light or Home Swim, one or the other. So we had these two. And then I thought, you know, Seed Pearl in the Michaels yarn is such an odd color. It's kind of a cream, kind of an off-white, kind of. But we did one more, and we did it cream colored. I probably should have done the face in, you know, like a brown, and do the ears in a brown, and maybe the tail in a brown, and it would have looked very much like a Siamese. And then I did one more Pammy doll cat, and I did it in black and white. Now I tried to adjust her color things. Like, she gives you 3 different color sequences for 3 different style cats. And I tried to do one where it would just be the face that came out white and the rest of it would be black, and it extended out a little bit on one side. But that's okay, because cats, there is no rhyme or reason to their coloring. So we do have the black and white one. And all of these I used the 16mm safety eyes, the sinkers on, with the back replacements that I ordered off of AliExpress. I'm so thrilled to be able to use some of these eyes. I mean, because I had eyes, but I couldn't use them because the backs were breaking. But yeah, so we did 4 Pammy doll cats. Those are a really quick, easy make. And I charge $15 a piece for those because they are so quick. And they are a decent size. Then, in Friday night's live, I tried to do a Myrtle the Turtle. And it took me the entire live to be able to do it. And while I was at it, I went ahead and did 2 more. So these, technically Friday was in October. So this was made in October, not November. But yeah, so I was trying to use up little pieces of like the tie-dye and stuff that I had left over. So the center of this one's shell is in the, I think it's tangerine orange in the brights, and mint green, and then whatever tie-dye color that was. I picked the orange because there was orange in the tie-dye. Anyways, so it has kind of orange copper color eyes to go with it. Those are 20 millimeter. And I do these out of 6 millimeter hook. This is Chastity Ann Designs turtle pattern, but I do change up how I attach my legs and how I do the tail. But the base of it is Chastity Ann Designs. So then, dropped my paper. Sticking to the same, let's use up some of the little scrap pieces of the tie-dye. We did another one. I believe this color for the feet and the head is Caribbean. And then hibiscus pink. And then I had just enough of the tie-dye to do the little border on that. I mean, just enough. And again, 20 millimeter eyes. And that one, it's supposed to be, or at least it looked to me at the time like it was pink. But in this lighting, it kind of looks kind of a purple pink. But it's good. I got to pick up my paper. And then the last Myrtle that I was able to complete, we used some sage green. We put the tie-dye in the center and finished it off with hot coral. See, it looked like the tie-dye had that color in it. And I think it turned out pretty cool. 20 millimeter eyes. I wasn't sure what color eyes to use with it, so I gave it blue. Not that there's any blue in that, but that's what I ended up using. So, 3 Myrtle the Turtles. And I think that gives me a total of 8 in the inventory, and those sell for $15. Then, let's see. I got to thinking. I bought not all, but a lot of the Oak and Marlowe Fabled Collection patterns. And I just realized one of them is sitting behind me on the shelf. And one of them that I did not get to make because I didn't feel like I had the right color in Bernat to make it come out to size that I wanted it to come out to. Then I got to thinking, I have some Big Twist plush, and they had a fantastic brown. So I dug through my stash, and yes, I did have some brown left. So I was able to make Finn, I think his name is, Finn Bear. And let me just say, I changed the face. I love these patterns, but my only thing is the face just being a little round ball. And I struggle super hard to get the face shaping to where it looks as cute as hers do. So I've been tweaking the faces a little bit. So this one, I gave it a muzzle. Now, I was going to just try and do it with a bobble stitch, but then I didn't like how the bobble stitch looked. So I made a little muzzle and put it over top of the bobble stitch, and that bobble stitch was my stuffing. And he does have embroidered eyes because I'm trying to make these baby safe. I should do, because, these things, they're just so darn cute. I should do some with safety eyes as well. But I don't know. His little hood. It comes with a bee costume. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to do all that. I just want a little accessory. So I did the hood. And this is Big Twist plush as well, one of the variegated colors. I do not remember the name of it. It is a fun color. I have small quantities of it left, but I probably I think I have one more full skein of this brown. So I should be able to make maybe 3 or 4 more bears out of it. But we'll see before I do that if this sells or not. But I think they're adorable. Now I did, because this was the Big Twist plush, the legs were extremely long, so I left off a couple of rounds because it was like really long. I'm like, wow, did I miscount? I don't know. But I frogged out a couple of rounds. But it's really cute. Now, she does have you sew on the arms and the ears. Now, because of the way I did it with adding the muzzle, I did have to sew the muzzle on. Piece of cake. It was no big deal. It was very easy. And that was just like 2 rounds. I'm pretty sure it was only 2 rounds. See, I should have wrote this down because I'll probably never be able to replicate it. And then embroidered the nose as well. And I think it's really nice. I think it turned out really nice. And I do like the little muzzle. White may not have been the best choice for it, but that's what I had. I was just thrilled to death to remember this brown. I mean, it's been a long time since I've worked with any of the Big Twist plush. And those are the type of things that I am trying to work through to clear out to make space for the yarns that I do use a lot of. So we have that one. And then, last time I went and I bought her chicken. I think it's Millie the chicken, because she's coming out with an ostrich modification, but you needed the chicken pattern to be able to do the ostrich. And then after the ostrich came out, I found out you could also buy the ostrich on her Etsy. So there's that, or you can get the free version from her blog. Now, I don't know if she's fixed it yet or not, but fair warning, if you get it from the blog, the head does not work. Because for the most part, you follow the body of the chicken. There's a few tweaks that you do make to turn it into an ostrich. The color changes, and then the neck is longer. And in the chicken pattern, you have reduced down to 5, and then you're going to do 3 single crochets in each of those 5 stitches to increase to 15. But on the ostrich, you have 6 on your neck. So I had to play games with that. Now, I'm sure people have told her, and she has probably corrected it. I have not checked. But just know that if my ostrich looks different, that is why. But here is my ostrich. Oh my gosh, is this not just the cutest? I mean, please. He is just the cutest. The only thing with this is I had to use brights, so it is smaller than the ones that would be from the Bernat yarn, because I wanted to match the colors. Now, she did mix Bernat with her brights in the blog. She used lead for this part. I didn't have lead, so I used Mystical. I believe that color is Cinder. This is Peach, I think. The Off-White and Shell for the head. Now, she does recommend supporting the neck. She suggested a foam dowel. And I did not have that. So I just tried to stuff it very firmly. Its little neck will probably get broken quickly. It's got the cute little tail on the back. I don't know. I just thought this thing was freaking adorable. Now, I still need to add some white to its eyes. I kind of sat it up on the shelf and forgot about it. But it is so cute. So, so cute. And it's different. I mean, how many ostriches do you see out there? So, of course, I'm going to save the best piece for last. At least it's the best piece in my opinion. I like them all, but the best one is for last. So then we worked on a splooter from Shannon at Snuggle Beans Crochet, and I wanted to do one that I hadn't done yet. Plus, I want to do ones that I have done and have sold, but I just don't have time because my list is like ever growing of what I need to have made for Friday, and it's just not going to happen. I am not as fast as you guys think I am. But anyways, we did Beans the Bunny, and, you know, I stuck with the gray and white. Now, I did have to use 35mm eyes on Beans because I don't have any 30s, but I think they look okay. They are kind of a light pink. You can do the feet with or without the foot pad, toe beans, what I don't know what you want to call them, without this, but I chose to put them in, and I used mauve, I think it is, dusty something. I have a little tiny ball of it left over from the Sweet Snuggles, and it was enough to be able to do this with, and I used the same color for the nose. The tail, she gives two options for the tail. You can do it out of fur yarn, or you can just crochet the ball. I wanted fur, but in all honesty, I cannot just crochet just the fur unless it's a surface crochet. I just can't find the stitches. And it feels weird. It's like this tactile thing. Like, I don't want to touch it when it's all knotted together. It feels funny to me. So what I ended up doing with this is I made the tail with just using the regular chenille yarn. But I did them in back loops so that it left the front loop open for me. And then I went back and surface crocheted the fur into those front loops so it could have the fluffy tail. Because I really wanted the fluffy tail. And I think that old Beans here turned out really cute. So he will probably be, most of my splooters, the easy splooters, I do for $30, and I think I'm going to keep that $30 price. We'll see when it comes to let's get it priced today if I stick with that. So then I changed up. I do not think I showed you guys these yet. I'm so confused. Not having my regular style video on Sunday, like, has really messed me up. But I don't think I've shown you these. I've shown you others like it, but not these current makes. So I worked on a couple of dogs in the little beds, and using up the leftover pieces of the brights, I put a stripe in there. All I do is, when you're going up the sides, there's 7 rounds. On the 5th round is where I put the color in to have the stripe to make sure it shows up on the outside. And I think this puppy's supposed to be the corgi. I think. There's so many of them in that pattern pack. And you know what? I forgot to write this on my list. So off the top of my head, I do not know the designer name, but of course, it will be linked in the description. And speaking of that, I have had a lot of people asking, where is the link for such and such? I don't see it. It's there. The links show up 2 different ways because I am a member of the YouTube shopping program. If it is a qualifying link, when I add it in my description, they convert it and it comes up as a picture, like a little thumbnail with the listing. So you need to look in those, and depending on what kind of device you're on, you might have to scroll side to side. It might pull it up like a list. If it is not something that qualifies, it shows up in the description as a regular old hyperlink. I don't pick and choose how YouTube is going to put those out there. But before you message and say, where's the link for such and such, check both places, please. Because it makes me go back and look, did I mess up? And it's like, it's time consuming to keep doing that, to check and see, did I mess up? Did I miss one? I try very hard not to. It does happen sometimes that I miss them. And I'm grateful for the people who bring it to my attention so I can list it in the description, or it come up as the image with the link. But the image is nice because you can see it and it'd be like, yes, this is the one I was wanting. And you're not sitting there clicking on 5,000 different links trying to figure it out. So anyhow, we did this one. And then we did this one. And this one's supposed to be the husky. Oh, I really don't like this light. So this one is supposed to be the husky. Because in this light, all this, like, stuff just shows up. Oh. And it's just, like, I can see it, and then I have to pick it off. I have to. Anyways. So we got the little husky, and these are done out of brights, and I use a 6mm hook with my brights. They do have the colored safety eyes. Both of the dogs do. And this bed, I was using up some little scrap end pieces. Some of them a little bit more color than others was available to use, but not enough to make anything out of. And I got this idea from Tammy at the Crafty Mompreneur. She did one where she used up her little end pieces. Now I did my bottom solid so that I wouldn't have ends to weave in other than my starting end. And then the scrap pieces went into the sides where when you fold it down, all the ends are going to be on the inside of the sidewall of the bed. So I did that. And then during mine and Heather's live Monday, I made one more bed. And using that leftover piece of the tie-dye. So I still need the puppy for this bed, but I wanted to show you something. These two are the same color. There is like a really big difference in the color. These are both the same color. I ran into that problem on the next thing that I'm going to show you. As long as I've been using the chenille and blanket yarns now, I have not run into an issue because of dye lots that the colors were so drastically different that it was noticeable, like jump out and slap you in the face noticeable, as I have in the past week. Unbelievable, the color difference. But anyhow, we got this made in the live with Heather on Monday. So we need one puppy for that. These are just cute. Just cute. And yes, I'm allowed to say cute. I just can't put the S word in front of cute. So we have those. We have the extra bed. Then yesterday, well, Monday, after the live, I started making the parts for Dory the Deer. Now, Dory the Deer is a pattern from Snuggle Beans Crochet, and this one will be my fourth one. Every one that I make has sold at market. All of them. Now, this one, I used brights. I started to make it last week with Parfait Chunky, and my Parfait Chunky was Parfait Skinny. So I stopped making it because it was gonna, like, the head would have been smaller than my fist. It was coming out so small. Now, I did not follow the pattern in the order that it was written. I decided, let me make all the little parts first, and then we'll just go to the head and then the body. So Monday night, I got the tail and the ears made and started on one leg. And then I was like, okay, it's time for bed. So then Tuesday morning, after, I had breakfast and everything, get started back on the deer. I get all 4 legs made. I get started on the head, and I get to right at the part where you're going to start decreasing to close the back of the head, and I ran out of the skein of caramel that I was using. I go to get another one, and it was just like that orchid I just showed you. The color was so drastically different. Like, the one that I completed, the color was nice and vibrant. It lived up to the name of Brights. And then the new skein was the thicker, stiffer, with less color. It kind of looked closer to steel cut oats and like a mixture of steel cut oats and curry. Anyways, I'm like, what am I going to do? I already made all the pieces. What am I going to do? So I frogged the head, and the head and body would have to be in the new shade of caramel. So what I decided to do was just throw in some like patches of the one that was slightly, darker. I see it. It's very, very noticeable to me. And hopefully that would make it look like everything went together. Now, because this Brights, it was the thicker, stiffer, this deer's head looks huge. Absolutely huge. But it's still cute. It's still cute as a button. So, here is the deer. Now, if you see the legs next to the head here, this is the first skein that I was using, and that is the second skein. And there is a very noticeable difference. Very noticeable. This is chocolate. This is caramel. This is caramel. So what I did, oh my goodness. You can see like right around the ear here, into the head, and around this ear, I worked in some of the darker brown to like hopefully make it look like they go together. I also did the same thing through the back here. Like it has a big patch of that darker color, wraps around a little bit, hoping that it's all going to blend in. And I mean, I think it looks okay. Like you can really see the difference here. And it's just that it was different dye lots. And it's, like I said, this is the first time that I have noticed, like, that it jumps out and slaps you in the face that there is a difference in the yarn, in the coloring, because of dye lots. I was so upset. So this took me a lot longer than it should have because I was almost done with the head when I had to change skeins of yarn, and then the color was drastically different, and then I was just like fit to be tied. Messaging Heather, messaging Mary, what am I going to do? Look at this, the colors are so different. And then I got back on track and frogged the head and finished up. But it was just like this whole little mini crisis mode in my mind because my colors were different. So weird. But Dory the Deer, Snuggle Beans Crochet, and again, 35mm eyes. But on this one, it is definitely very okay because the head turned out so big with this thick piece of chenille brights. Now I just have a few more things. I'm not showing you the best one yet. So we're going to go through the keychains that I was able to make. I needed to switch modes yesterday and make some keychains. I haven't put them out the last couple of markets. I haven't gotten around to really making any. So yesterday I was like, it is time. It is time to make some keychains. And Mary issued me a challenge. She says, I'm going to check with you at 10 o'clock and see if you have 10 made. That is your goal. So now I would have liked to have gotten 10 different ones made, but that didn't happen. I did, however, let's see here, get 6 different ones made. Some of them, just one of each, some have a few multiples. So I started with pickles. Now, this is not a written pattern. These are super simple to do. You're going to start with 6, increase to 12, do 10 rounds of 12, and then decrease. And within your 10 rounds of 12, just randomly throw in a couple of bobble stitches. Place your eyes wherever you think they look good, and you have a pickle keychain. So I made 4 pickles. I mean, to me, this is so basic. It's just like, look at it. It's like you're making a chunky arm that's got warts on it and then close it up. And I tried to give them different facial expressions. So anyways, 4 pickle keychains. Then I switched. I went onto Instagram I was looking at the pattern from Poggy's Place, the Critterlings, I think it's called. And I'm like, do I want to spend the money? Because I do have an okay assortment with the patterns that I do use. And a lot of times, if it just comes out small, especially if I use Parfait Chunky, I just throw it on a keychain and move it out like that. So instead of spending some money, which I might or might not end up doing, because she does have some really cute ones in a couple of the package. Like there's a really big package that has 30 patterns, or she has it broke down into 3 other ones that have 10 different patterns each. Just depends on what you might be looking for. I may or may not do that. So I went on Instagram and I just looked up crochet key patterns. Well, Chicken Nugget came up and I was like, you know what? Mary, she's been selling a ton of chicken nuggets lately. And I thought, why not put some on a keychain? So I made 3. Now, I took a screenshot. And on the screenshot, it does not show the designer name. And when I was making my notes for today's designers and everything, I went to look for it and could not find this pattern again. But there are several on Instagram. Just search chicken nugget or crochet chicken nugget keychain, and you'll find several. They don't have to all look exactly the same. But of course, for whatever reason, I didn't save it. I screenshotted it, and on the screenshot, it does not have the designer's name. And I'm like, why would they do that? They always have the designer name. Making this hard for me. How can I share your pattern if you don't say who you are? Anyways, so we moved on from chicken nuggets after the 3 of them. And again, I just searched on Instagram crochet keychain patterns. And we came across a little mini Kirby. This is by Crochet by Smurf. And I did it out of brights using a 6mm hook. So that can tell you, like, this is really small. Like how small this would be if you used Parfait Chunky or like Toucan or something like that. It would be very, very tiny. Now I did make one change to this. I added an extra round between the arms and the legs, because it goes, you do the round with the arm and then the next round is due with the legs, and it just looked too squatty. So I added one round with nothing and then continued on with the last 3 rounds of the pattern. It's very quick. There's very few rounds in this. Then I came across, now this person is new to me, might not be new to you, but it's Threads and Color Art is the designer. Now, when it comes to the Instagram patterns, I will link to the designer, not to an individual pattern, because the links don't work for very long. So I will just link you to the designer. So 2 of these next patterns are from Threads and Color Art, and she has a lot of them on there. They're free. So the first one that I tried from her was this bear. Cute, cute, cute. I want to say it is 9 rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rounds. You do sew on the little ears and you do sew on the little muzzle. Now you could probably, maybe, get away with the bobble stitch and make the ears ahead of time and then tie them in place so that you don't have to go back and crochet them on. But I just wanted to test it out because I was looking at my list of keychains and I really don't have that many of the animals. Most of them are like the pickles, the heart shape, the ice cream cone. Not very many animals at all. So, at least ones that I planned on remaking. So we have the little bear. Like I said, it was pretty quick, and I'm sure after you make it a few times, it becomes even faster. Well, she has a lot. There's a cow, there's a giraffe, there's a donkey, I can't even name them all. There's a lot. But she also had these little mini Totoros. I did one in light gray and one in blue. This one, you don't sew anything on. The ears are made in the round. The arms and the legs are done in the round. The only thing you have to do is you have to go back and add some white to the eye, embroider the nose, and then make the little, these things on the belly which is nothing. I mean, again, like 9 rounds. And really, really quick. The second one went much faster than the first one, but I didn't want to go more than 2 until I see, are they going to sell? But she does have a couple of other ones that I want to try. I doubt I'll get to them before this market. I have too many things to do and still have to figure out when am I going to get all this stuff priced. So much. So then I was one more, Googling, searching on Instagram for keychain patterns, and this frog came up. And I can tell you, normally I am not a leggy frog pattern, or a leggy frog lover. I like making frogs, but leggy frogs did not sell for me. But these frogs have shape. They're not a flat tube like the regular leggy frog. They got some shape to the body. It is no-sew. He's cute. And rather than giving him that V-shaped smiley face, I just gave it the wide mouth like a frog has. And we'll see what happens with these. But these were fun to make. They were pretty quick. I used Parfait Chunky in pistachio for these. The chicken nuggets is Parfait Chunky in mustard. The pickle is Parfait Chunky in goblin. And the bear, the Totoro, and the Kirby, they are all done in brights. If that, and I mean, they're small. So if you did those in Perfect Chunky, they'd be super tiny. But these are just cute. I love the shape of them. So we'll see if this style Leggy Frog sells or not. I think as a keychain, they will have an advantage. So we'll see. We will see. So those were all the free patterns that I did. Now this next one, I have been waiting and waiting and waiting for a pattern to come out for it. And one finally came out that I thought looked nice and did not look too difficult and was not a lovey. So I bought the pattern. And in this pattern, it's really kind of like getting 6 patterns for the price. You get 3 dolls. Each have 2 different outfits. And the outfits are crocheted into it. So I started with what I think is the most popular character, and that would be Roomie. She still needs some blush on her cheeks. And I don't have any gold colored jump rings to give her gold earrings. But this is my Roomie. And this, compared to the Sanderson sisters, this was a breeze. So you have the hair. Believe it or not, this is a no-sew pattern. I was so shocked. It is a no-sew pattern. The head is nice and sturdy. It's not much wiggling because this is Green Frog Crochet. She has you crochet a tube that you're going to put in the neck. I just stuffed it very firmly. Now, she did recommend you could roll up some felt and put in it, some wire, whatever, but I just stuffed that piece very, very firmly and then ran some stitches through the neck part here where it's the skin tone color to help hold that in place. And it's nice and firm. When you're doing the head, she tells you to put the eyes, wherever you're going to place the eyes. But before you snap them in place, make your eyelashes. Then put the eye back in the hole that you had chosen and snap them in place. She gets brown eyebrows. She is supposed to have some blush on the cheek. And to really jazz her up, some jump rings, some gold-colored jump rings I do not have for her ears. But this was so much faster than the Sanderson sisters. Now, unfortunately, I don't believe I will have time to make the other dolls for November. But I really think, hopefully, I'll be able to have it for the December market, because I do have 3 markets this month in November. The 7th, the 14th, and the 22nd. And then we go right into the first Friday of December, the second Friday of December, and then the Saturday morning after, and then I am done for the year. So I don't have a lot of time to make fancier, more time-consuming things. This probably took, I'm guessing, I tried to time it, but being my first time, it's not fair, and then I take lots of breaks, I get lots of interruptions, you gotta eat, you gotta pee, that type of thing. I want to say 3 to 3.5 hours to make this. And it is a very good size for being parfait chunky. I'm at a loss for what to price it. I'm kind of leaning towards $40 to $45. I don't know. I just don't know. But that is all that I can share with you today. I do have another item, but I'm not allowed to share it yet. And I need to get this edited and then get back to work. I'm not sure what direction I'm going. I need to make the dog for the bed. I need more keychains. I need some cookie mice. I need. I still have the little zombie doll to make for Friday, and today is Wednesday. That I think should be first. Okay, so we'll do the zombie first, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do after that. I started to do it the other day, and I just couldn't make up my mind. But now I need to make up my mind. All right, so I got to go, and I will see you in the next video.